Richard Tice joins me now, a businessman, chief executive of the asset management group Quidnet Capital LLP, prominent Leave campaigner with the Leave Means Leave group. I've got to get myself across all these different groups. Good morning.
Morning.
What do you want to see happen next? First question.
Look, it's very simple. We had a people's vote in 2016 and the decision was leave. It wasn't with any conditions attached. It wasn't based on the deal. We voted to leave. And if we want trust to remain in democracy in this country, that needs to be carried out. We haven't even left yet. And the people who can't accept the will of the people want to try and reverse it. What should happen now? What should happen now?
You know, the will of the people is also a little bit about politicians delivering the plan.
Oh, but no, they outsourced that decision to the people. They made it very clear.
No, they didn't outsource negotiating. I've not seen any of the people who've texted in say they've been off to Brussels to try and get a deal.
They said you make the decision, and if the decision is to leave, we will carry out that instruction. And let's be very clear, in serving Article 50, in signing off the Withdrawal Act last year, MPs knew that we would leave on the 29th of March with or without a deal. And it's perfectly possible to go to a World Trade Organization type Brexit, which is it's a huge opportunity. Welcome to the opportunity of being in the big global world.
Tony Blair said this morning that the WTO organisation itself is in a big state of disarray. It's in a mess.
It's not in a mess.
Why would he lie?
There's 164, because he's got a particular vested interest. There are 164 members of the World Trade Organization. There's 28 members of the European Union.
What if people who voted to leave don't want to leave without a deal? What if they don't want to?
Because the government has already passed twice. The House of Commons has voted to leave with or without a deal. And there's
so why are the Brexiteers sabotaging Brexit?
Because the deal that the Prime Minister put was a really, really bad deal, the worst deal in history, and quite rightly.
You accept that they're sabotaging Brexit?
No, we're not sabotaging. What we're saying is
not you, MPs.
No, well, some MPs are sabotaging it because they want to reverse it. But let's be very clear.
No,
we voted to leave.
This is a very clear question. Brexiteer MPs... I mean, Boris Johnson practically salivating with happiness that the deal didn't get through.
Yeah, because it was a very bad deal and it didn't represent Brexit. It didn't represent what people voted for.
What if it's the only form of Brexit we can get?
It's not the only form of Brexit. I've just explained we can go to World Trade Organization rules, which means we save $39 billion, we can do trade deals, we can cut the cost of food, clothing and footwear. There's a world of opportunity out there, which unfortunately our timid, weak and feeble majority of MPs don't seem to be able to come to terms with, even though they've twice voted for it in the last 2 years.
But don't we get the politicians we deserve?
Well, yes, and that's why actually we're all realising... So you just said the majority of our MPs are weak and timid and feeble. Yes, because... These are our elected representatives. Yes, and I think what we're learning from this is just how badly governed we are as a nation, and things need to change.
How can you be against the idea of another referendum when it's profoundly democratic?
We haven't even left yet.
To go to the people. It's not the same question, potentially.
Look, we haven't even left yet, and yet you're trying to deny the first democratic expression, the biggest ever democratic expression ever in this country, and all of a sudden you want to overturn it before we've even left.
I want to do nothing. I want to test it with you.
Absolutely.
And I'm stress testing it, and it's not going very well, but I'll try again. In the sense of, if the question is slightly different, it's not complete.
We don't accept the premise that there should be a second referendum. We haven't even left yet. We voted to leave.
But we can't decide how to leave. That was never on the ballot paper.
What was on the ballot paper was leave. It wasn't leave with a deal or leave with conditions. It was leave.
But it wasn't leave without a deal either, was it?
It was leave. Leave means leave. That's why our campaign's called
that's like Brexit means Brexit. I mean, and everyone then confused it with breakfast anyway. I mean, in all seriousness, you're harking back to 2016, and I get why. But I'm also sitting here in a studio in January in 2019, looking down the barrel of a camera that regularly sees a Prime Minister with bloodshot eyes who cannot get a deal through Parliament.
In which case, she should do what she always said, right? And the people trusted her. She said, no deal is better than a bad deal.
Yeah, but she also said we'd have no election.
Please.
She also said we wouldn't do various other things, and people change their minds.
So she can't be trusted. But everybody in business knows, and I'm a businessman knows, right? No deal is always better than a bad deal. And we have to be prepared to walk away. There is a perfectly... Yes, because
is it arguable that you're comfortable with no deal because you're financially comfortable?
No, because it would be great for this country. We can save £39 billion to invest in public services, and we can be free as a sovereign nation.
Why did Nigel Lawson say to me, the former Chancellor, only a few weeks ago, there will be short-term pain? He said that to me, and I said to him,
I'll tell you why, because
some people can't absorb short-term pain.
I'll tell you why, because Philip Hammond refused to release the money to make sure that the preparations were in place. Look, we can do this 24/7, 7 days a week. We can get organised. The head of the Port of Calais said just last week that many members of the media in Parliament seem to forget there will be no extra checks or delays in Calais. and yet people seem to forget that. You know, it will be fine.
Why does it always sound like a conspiracy? Many members of the media, many members of the establishment.
Because the establishment
purely stress testing the facts.
Correct. And the facts are we voted to leave, and then twice MPs voted to leave on the 29th of March with or without a deal, and the people have a right to expect them to carry that out. They don't have the right to constantly change their mind and put this country in chaos.
I have to go to the news.